At 2:17 in the morning, Robert's phone rang. He almost ignored it. His daughter, Emily, had not called him in 3 years. But when he answered, he heard only crying. Then she whispered, "Dad. I don't know who else to call." What Robert said next changed both of their lives forever. Stay until the end, because this story may change the way you speak to your own child tonight. Robert was not a bad father. He loved Emily more than anything. But he believed love meant working hard, paying bills, and giving his daughter a better life. He worked late almost every night. He missed school plays, family dinners, and small moments Emily hoped he would notice. Robert always said, "I'm doing this for you." But Emily only heard silence. When Emily was 7, she made a drawing of her family. Her mother was smiling. Emily was holding a balloon. And Robert was standing far away, wearing a suit and holding a briefcase. At the bottom, she wrote, "My dad is always at work." Robert saw the drawing for only a moment. He smiled, placed it on the fridge, then rushed out the door. One evening, Emily waited beside the window for Robert to come home. When he finally arrived, she ran to him and asked, "Dad, will you come to my school tomorrow?" Robert was tired. He barely looked up from his phone. "I'll try," he said. Emily smiled and believed him. But the next day, her chair on stage remained empty. Emily stood on the school stage and searched the crowd. Mothers waved. Fathers clapped. Children smiled at their families. But Robert's seat was empty. She sang anyway, but her voice shook. That night, Robert brought home a small gift and said he was sorry. Emily thanked him politely. But something inside her had already begun to close. Emily grew older. She stopped asking Robert to come. She stopped showing him her report cards. She stopped telling him about her friends. Robert thought she was simply becoming independent. He did not realize she was learning how to live without expecting him. Sometimes the greatest distance between a parent and child is not measured in miles. It is measured in unspoken words. When she was 18, she told Robert she wanted to study art. Robert immediately said, "That is not a real future." Emily looked at him with tears in her eyes. "You never listened to me," she said. Robert answered, "I'm trying to protect you." But Emily replied, "No, Dad. You're trying to control me." That was the last real conversation they had for years. Emily left home 2 weeks later. She took one suitcase, a small box of childhood photos, and the drawing she had made when she was 7. Robert stood at the door, angry and hurt. He wanted to tell her not to leave. But pride made him stay quiet. Emily looked back one final time, hoping he would say, "Please stay." He said nothing. For 3 years, Robert watched his phone but never called. He told himself Emily needed space. He told himself she would come back when she was ready. But every birthday, every holiday, and every empty chair at dinner reminded him of what he had lost. He had spent his whole life trying to give Emily a future, but he had forgotten to be present in her life. Then came the phone call. Emily was crying so hard she could barely speak. "Dad," she whispered, "I lost my job. I have nowhere to go." Robert felt his heart break. He wanted to ask why she had waited so long. He wanted to say he had warned her. But then he remembered every time she had needed him before, and he had been too busy. Robert grabbed his keys and drove through the night. Rain hit the windshield as he replayed every missed moment in his mind. The school concert. The drawing on the fridge. The day she left. He realized that parents often believe there will always be another chance to listen, another chance to hug, another chance to say, "I'm here." But sometimes, time quietly closes the door. When Robert found Emily, she was sitting outside a small apartment building with one suitcase beside her. She looked older, tired, and afraid. Robert stepped out of the car. For a moment, neither of them spoke. Then Emily said, "I didn't call because I thought you would be disappointed in me." Robert's eyes filled with tears. He walked toward her and held her tightly. Robert said, "Emily, I am sorry. I thought being a good father meant giving you everything except my time. I was wrong." Emily cried against his shoulder. Robert continued, "You do not have to earn my love. You do not have to be perfect. You are my daughter, and I will always come for you." Those were the words Emily had waited years to hear. Children may forget the toys you buy. They may forget the money you spend. But they remember whether you listened when they were afraid. They remember whether you showed up when they looked into the crowd. They remember the tone of your voice when they made mistakes. Love is not only providing a home. Love is making your child feel safe inside your heart. Robert and Emily did not fix everything in one night. Healing took time. There were difficult conversations, tears, and apologies. But Robert began calling every week. He asked questions and listened without interrupting. He attended Emily's art exhibition months later. When she saw him standing there, smiling proudly, she finally understood that her father was learning how to love her in a new way. If you are a parent, do not wait for a late-night phone call to tell your child that you love them. Call them. Listen to them. Ask how they are doing, and stay long enough to hear the real answer. And if this story touched your heart, share it with a parent who needs this reminder today. Subscribe for more stories that bring families closer.